Look, I'll start introducing myself. I can see a few more people are joining. So yeah, this is recorded anyway. So if you do join partway, that's totally fine. My name's Natasha. I'm a customer success manager here at Rex. Today we're going to be going through our AI features. So we've got three main ones that I'll be going through. Just before we get into that though, just a little bit of housekeeping. You'll notice in Zoom that there's two options that you have. So there is a chat box. If you could just avoid putting your questions in the chat box and put them in the Q&A box instead. So essentially that's where our team behind this, the scenes is going to be checking your questions and answering them as we go. I'll at the end do a bit of a Q&A as well. So I'll answer some of your questions live. All right, sorry, I was going to move something on my screen. And I'm just going to pop up the Q&A box because it's disappeared from my side. All right, there we go. So just starting with our first AI feature, which is AI filters. So AI filters are a really good way for you to be able to search your database. So we have the AI filter option available in your listing module. So I'll just pop out this menu here. So we've got the listings module, the properties module, and then the contact module as well. So I'm just going to start with the contact module today, and I'll just show you where to find the AI filter. So if we go to all contacts, you could as well, if you need to, you can go to your own contacts, but I'm just going to be working from the whole database today. So you can see here we've got a filter, and then we've also got this snazzy little icon here, which generates the AI. So here I can just do the basic ones. So contact name, tags, smart categories, etc. But if I want to actually target my database a bit further and make it a bit easier for myself, because sometimes, especially if you're new to Rex, it can be quite daunting trying to figure out how to find those contacts. Just bear with me a moment. Just had something pop up on my screen. All right, so from here, we can start by targeting, for example, contacts that were added in the last 12 months. So if I just type that in here, in the last 12 months, this will essentially go off the creation date. So we can see here, these are a bit outdated. I can actually click this shortly and it will show me the more recent ones. But for now, I'll just click filter. Just give it a little moment. It just needs some time to think. And then you can see here, it's filtered by the created time. And then that says 12 months ago. So it's automatically actually done that creation date filter for me. So you can see if I click there, we've got 2025, and then that's the newest ones in 2026. And then from here, if for any reason it's not quite what I'm looking for, I can actually click on this here and then look at the advanced filters. So if I wanted to add some extra criteria to this, I can just go add, and then I can scroll through any of these. Now, this can be a little bit daunting if you're new to Rex, if you're learning. So I just recommend that you just have a little look through, think about the terminology that we use, and then when you're adding information to the contact record, you'll start to see the terminology that we use when you're adding, say, for example, a note or a phone number, maybe an email address, postal address, interest levels, just things like that. You'll start to get used to the terminology we use, and that will help you be able to use the AI filter a bit better. So rather than, maybe just putting in contacts added in the last 12 months, you might be able to add some extra criteria all at once. I'll just exit this one just by typing it into here. You'll also see that the system already generates these ones for you. So if you're just getting used to this, essentially you'll be able to just have a look, okay, cool, hot contacts without a phone number. So if we go hot contacts without a phone number. Now, while you're learning, you may not understand entirely what these are. So when you actually click on it, you can see the breakdown. So you can click on here and go, oh, okay, interest level. So this contact has an interest level that's hot. But then I might look at that and think, I don't actually know what that means yet. So if I click onto here, bear with me. So if I click onto here, we can see this has a label here. So this is on my contact record. And then we've got the interest level. So that's what that is related to. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of getting used to the terminology and where things live, and then you'll be able to use these filters a lot better. I'm just going to show you some other examples. So you can see here we've got contacts that do have phone numbers and contacts that don't. So if we're wanting to find all of our contacts that don't have phone numbers and do a bit of a cleanup, so maybe we want to send out an email to them and try and get their phone number, or maybe we want to just remove them from our database so we can tidy things up, we can just go contacts without, oops, phone number. And just a reminder with the AI filters, because you will be able to go into the properties and the listings, you just want to make sure you're in the right module. So if you were in one of these modules, for example, and then you're trying to look for contact information, that information might not pull up. So it's just a handy hint just to keep an eye on that you're in the right area. So we can see here now the system has automatically filtered by phone numbers that are empty. And we can add on some extra things if we want to. So maybe we want to find if they, let's just say, maybe the last time they were modified. So when was the last time we actually spoke to and updated their record? Because if it hasn't been for quite a long time, we might want to remove them from our database. So we've got 28 here, and I could also just select all of these and send out a quick email merge and just let them know that we don't have a phone number on file for them, or maybe even just yeah, add a tag to them. So you could do a tag, a system tag if you've got one set up. So it might be like a cleanup database tag, just whatever makes sense to you. But you can also just add it ad hoc here as well. So I won't add that for now. I'll just cancel that. Now, if you do have any issues with the AI feature, you can just give the AI filter some feedback. So if you are sure that you're using the correct terminology for X, and you know for sure that there's uh, advanced criteria in here that you should be able to search for it, and it's not working, you can just give it some feedback here, and that will filter back through. I'm assuming to our product team. They probably have a database where it picks up on that, or the AI probably just learns from the feedback that's given. So we'll be able to bring out updates to that. Now, moving on, let's just do missing email addresses as an example. So it's fairly similar to the phone numbers. We can see if we exit out of this filter that we have quite a lot of contacts without an email address. Let's actually do with an email address, because say we want to send out a bulk merge, we want to make sure that we're sending it to people who do have an email. So we'll go contacts with an email address. Filter, give it a little second. Isn't empty. I think I might have typed that in incorrectly. Anyway, sometimes you just have to play around with this. So isn't empty. I might have just typed in the wrong wording. Let's try missing email address. There we go. So that's the opposite way. That's without an email address. So again, if you do have their phone number, you could say without an email address, but with a phone number, then you could contact all of these people just to get up to date with their email address if they have one, and then add that into your system. Just while I'm here, I'll go through some more examples just so you can see how all of these work. I'll hop into the property and listing module shortly, but I just wanted to mention that we do have a save as feature. So if there's something that you're searching for quite often, rather than every time coming into the contact module, popping out this filter, you could just write it once. So for example, that hot contacts without a phone number, we could do that one again. Filter, and then we can save that so we can come back to it later. Oh, just give it a moment. So it's only myself in there, but let's just save that filter. So we can give it a name. So we can say hot contacts. What did we say? Sorry, with we say with phone number? I think. Sorry if I've got that a little bit wrong, but you get the message there. Basically, you're just giving the filter a name that makes sense to you. And then you can keep it for yourself. So if this is something that you just search for yourself, then you can just keep it there as myself private. If you're in a user group, then you can share it with a specific user group, or you can just share it with everyone. So if you're an admin team member setting these up, you can go share with everyone, save. And then from there, you can see it's actually come up with the name up there. So if I exit this, just to show you how to get back into that saved filter. So say it's the next day, you come back in and you're wanting to pull up that filter again. You can just click here where it says view contacts with that drop down arrow. And then you've got saved filters. So you can search from them if you have quite a lot set up, then you can do that. Otherwise, you can just go to your recent, or you can scroll all the way down to all filters. But if it's one that you're working off quite often, then you'll probably just type in there quickly. So we've got hot contacts with phone number. If I just click that, it's gone back into that search quite quickly. I'll show you some other examples of filters that we've got set up. So we've got, for example, Maisie's contacts. So if you're saving someone else's contacts, you might make that just available for you. If you're maybe you're an admin team member and you just need to check on some other users' contacts. Maybe, not everyone in the team needs to see those filters. If you need to change making it public or private, you can just hover. Oops, sorry, I've just clicked on that one. You can just essentially hover here and go make public. You can edit it or you can run it. Essentially, clicking on this blue hyperlink runs it anyway. And then we've also got, I'll just click out of that there as well. So we can actually favorite those as well. And I can see there's a few questions coming through. So our team in the back are answering those, and the questions that are still there later, I'll answer some live as well. I'll just go through some more examples of contacts. So let's just say we're looking for all property owners that live in Ascot as a suburb. Sorry, let's do contacts that just have Ascot in their address. Uh, I think I should say with Ascot in their address filter. And this will be going off this address here. Where is that pulling from? I'm just trying to think. They might have a related property. Yeah, okay. So that's coming from the related property. Sorry, not the address. I just got that wrong there. So there's two different things just to keep note of here. This is their actual home address, their postal address. This is their related property. So, people can be an owner of a property but not necessarily live there, not get their mail sent there. So we'll just move on to the property module as well. So I'll be able to show you if you go to all properties, you've essentially got the same generate filter and the same options to save it, the same options to also look at the saved filters. We don't have as many in here, but you could see, you could set up, for example, archived appraisals. I'll just generate one here. The example that Rex is giving is 3-bed, 2-bath. The one I'm going to put in is current appraisals. Let's go in Ascot because I know we've got quite a few in this system that are in Ascot. And then we can see, cool, we've got 8. And you can go through and see when they were last modified. And then if you need to, you can go in and do a tidy up of your appraisals because these are current appraisals. If I click into this advanced criteria, I could also look for not current. Essentially where that's pulling from, if I just go onto the property record, is this appraisal here. See, that's active. If I actually go into more and archive that, that's no longer active. And then essentially it will appear down here. So I've had one previously that they weren't interested, so it was archived. So if I realize that when I've just done this quick little filter, I go, oh, okay, there's appraisals in my system that probably should be archived. We can tidy that up. Then we can go through and just archive that and say, oh, yep, they weren't interested again. Save. and then this property will no longer show up in that search. The really good thing with clicking into the first one in the list is that you actually end up in Rex with these arrow buttons up the top. So it's one of 8. So that's looking through those 8 properties that we just filtered for, rather than looking through your whole database. So you can actually tidy up those appraisals all in one go, just flick through them, and then you can go, yeah, this one, the interest was cold. Maybe have a look at the stream. Maybe there's some notes that show that, yeah, that one didn't go ahead. But if you see some sort of indication that you should follow up this person, then yeah, you can, maybe add a track, for example, reminders, add a track. You could add on an appraisal track. So this one's a hot appraisal. It would probably be if this one was, let's just change the appraisal to hot. And if there's anything that I'm sort of going over quite fast, we have already done a few sessions of Rex Essentials, so you can feel free to go back to those and have a look. And we've also got quite a few other sessions coming up as well. So there will be some crossover with those features that we'll go into a lot further. Just wanting to bring it back to the AI features today. So let's go back to properties. And let's do failed appraisals from 1 year ago. So we can filter for that. Cool. So we've got 26. So now we might want to go through, we could tag them, for example, if you're not necessarily going to go through them today, you could put a tag so you can find them easily, or you could just save this filter and just say archived over 1 year ago or from 1 year ago, and then you could share it with everyone and then get the team to go through and if you see any potential opportunities for prospecting that one, then you can follow through with that. Now we also have the listing module as well. So you can do the filter from, for example, I'll just go back through that, listings, all listings current. You could do it from your own listings too. So it really depends on how you work in your team. If you just work in an open database, then yeah, you may be going through and looking at current. If you just work on your own listings, you can just go my listings current. You can see we don't have too many in here, so I'll go back into all listings. So I'm looking at the whole database. And then from here, you can see we've got this example, which is sold listings in the past 3 months. I also have on here, residential listings that aren't published. So we might want to go through and just do a tidy up of draft listings. And you can always change the listing type as well. So you could just say all listings, or if you're a commercial operation, you could say commercial listings. We can see here that we've got 22 that are in draft, and then we can go through these and tidy them up if needed. So for example, if we click into this one and we want to remove this, maybe it's an outdated one, we can just mark it as sold or withdrawn. I'll go back to listings. You can also as well look for published listings with portal errors, which is really handy. There is, I believe, a report in the reporting center. So just down in this menu here, I'll just type in this one first and then I'll go back to that. So published listings with portal errors. So we've only got one in here. And then you can see it's actually pulling from the filter has errors preventing upload. So yes or no. But I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure there's also a report in the report center as well. So you can have a look there, but it's probably just easier to do the filter, to be honest. And then I can save that so I can use it time and time again. You can also as well just exit any of these. If you think, oh, I didn't quite understand what I was after, I'll just go in and add this one myself. Or maybe you're just looking for your own listings. You could go owning user is any of, current user, me, filter. And then, yeah, I've got a few. Cool. So from there, we've covered the contact module, property module, and the listing module. Then we've covered the save as filter as well. Let's go into the AI merge content creation. So essentially, we have a feature where you can generate email content. So if, for example, I'm working on a listing, let's just choose this one as an example. And if I'm just sending an email from here, I can easily send this email to the related contacts. So the related contacts are Connor Welsh and Jacob Elordi. They're both the listing owners. I can just click here and choose whoever I'm sending it to. So you can CC in more people as well. Let's just send it to Jacob Elordi. And then we can choose who to send this email from. Let's just say it is being sent from me. And then you can see the sort of consistency with the AI features. They have that sort of purple and that icon. If I just zoom in a little bit on there, that little icon there. So rather than using your normal templates, essentially you can just generate an email here. So if I could generate, I can just pop in just any sort of subject line. So I'm just trying to think of one that I could use now. Let's say, yeah, vendor update. So it could just be an update about the open homes. So then we can do a call to action if we need to, but probably not for this one. You can just smart compose. It's basically giving you the bare bones of your, well, it does write a lot of information, but it can be the bare bones that you can work off of. So you don't necessarily have to get caught up in just using this text. You can, if it's fairly close to what you're wanting to say, you can just insert it. And then in the next screen, I'll show you shortly, you'll be able to actually edit it. Before you get to that though, if you think, maybe the tone's not quite right for you, maybe it's a little bit too formal and you're a bit more casual, or maybe you want it to be a bit more quirky, for example, yeah, you can basically just change. So let's do it a little bit more friendly. And the great thing about the email creation as well is that it can actually pull through merge tags. So it knows that we're wanting to say, hi, Jacob. So it's pulling through a merge tag that will pull through the contact's name salutation. So merge tags can take a little bit of time to get your head around. So yeah, it's quite handy having this feature where it can pull that through automatically for you. And then, yep, you can see, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to share a quick update with you about recent open home. Quite a positive turnout. Cool. We like that. Let's insert that into here. You could change the subject if you wanted, if you think it sounds a bit, yeah, not quite right. And then you can come in and just add anything into here. But yeah, it's quite good to send that out quickly. Send, and then there's a task done for the day. So I'll just exit that one. I won't send it today. You could even, if you wanted to, pop into buyer mode. So if you haven't used buyer mode before, you'll know that with your open home attendees, they're added as a feedback entry. So whether you're adding them on desktop as feedback here or you're checking them in through Pocket, it essentially creates an OFI feedback entry. We now have this view when you switch over from record mode to buyer mode. We can actually see, for example, all open homes or the last open home. So let's just pretend, oh, we do have one from 2026. Let's just say that was the last one on the 27th of March. One person through, but if we had more, if we just click that checkbox there, we can select all the people that attended. So if there was 10, for example, I could go merge email. I could do an SMS as well. And then I can just, let's just say, create an on-the-fly template. Let's just go blank. And then we can just generate the email from here. So if I do, I'm just trying to think how to, let's go open home, follow up. Oop. Topic. Do we have one here? Probably. Let's just go prospecting and see what it does. Smart compose. Yeah, cool. It was great to have you at the open home recently. Just wanted to check in and see what you thought. So if that sounds pretty good, you can do that. You can make it shorter, you can make it longer, you can change the audience. So yeah, you can change that there. First home buyers, for example, just have a look through. Let's make it shorter as an example. Yeah, cool. Nice and to the point. We'll insert that. And then if I have a list of 10 open home attendees, essentially Rex will know to put in their name where that merge tag is. So you don't have to worry about that. And then you can just shoot that off. And you can do an SMS from here as well, or even a letter. Same thing, you can do an on the fly template and just send that out from there. Now we'll just quickly, I know we've got a few more minutes left. We'll just quickly go through the listing ad generator. I think this may have been touched on in one of our last sessions just briefly. Look, it's pretty simple. Basically from the listing record, which I think I've just gone into the same one, you can go into the marketing tab here. We've already got text here, but let's just say, for example, I'll just remove it for now for this. Let's just save that. Let's just say there's no content here and we're just wanting to quickly do up the ad. So you'll see there's that purple sort of button again and the AI symbol. And it will just write this for you. Again, no need to get too caught up on it being perfect. It's really just to give you something to work off, and it might give you some ideas that if you're sitting down at the end of a long day, you might not be able to come up with. So it's quite good. You can refine it, make it shorter, make it longer. Adjust the tone again. So if every time you want to make sure yours is really friendly, just do friendly again. And then this is the marketing text that would be pushed through to the portals. So obviously you want to proofread it, but if we look at this and go, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. It's pulling from the listing record. So things like the size, the area, who it's suitable for, and then we can just go insert, save changes, or you can go in there and just go, okay, I didn't like that line. We don't want to talk about that. Let's add in something else here and then just save. All right, let's just have a look at the questions. Okay, there's quite a lot here, so just bear with me while I read through these. Okay, there's quite a few about open home attendees. Sorry, I'm just we've only got 2 minutes left, so I might just have a scroll down and just see if there's any other questions that are a bit easier. Otherwise, I'll just have a think on that. So can you do an AI search for people that you have actually called, not just recent contact? Okay, so yeah, I guess it depends how you're adding in that you've called them. If you're adding phone notes, you could potentially use this. I'm just trying to think of the way to word it. You could do, let me just think, probably contacts with a note or maybe a phone type, because we call the note a phone call type, like it's in the type drop down. Notes, and then you could say added before or after a certain time. So if it's recent, so if you wanted to look at this week or last week, for example, let me just see because that question's just. Yeah, so that you've actually called. Okay, so I guess really we just need contacts with a phone type note. And then if we go filter, hopefully there's something in the database. Yeah, okay, so this is a good example of what will happen if it isn't able to. I'm actually being silly here. I probably need to go into the notes instead, if that makes sense. But you can, let's just think of phone, phone number, notes. Okay, yeah, so not from this module. If anyone else has any ideas from the backstage, feel free to jump into that one. It looks like the other questions have all been answered. If there's anything else, just pop it through quickly. Otherwise, I think we'll just end it there for today. We'll send through some information with the questions that have been answered so everyone can have a look at all of that information. This will be available to rewatch as well if you need to. So if you want to go through it again. All right, I'll leave it there. Thank you all for joining and have a wonderful day.